lamb, goat, beef, they all have hides. Skin is edible. It gets crispy in the oven, and it even harbors the bacteria that aids in fermentation of salami. It's on the skin, so you have to leave the skin on for that. All right, so this is where we shot the pig. 2 inches above the level of the eyes. We're going to split these heads in half before we begin. And that will also kind of give us a view of the trajectory of the bullet. We can see exactly why we aim right there and not right there. We'll see where the brain is, how big it is. So I'm just going to remove any of the flesh out of the way so I can come with one of those saws.
Is this what we were eating today?
What we're eating today?
Yeah. I just asked.
If we
It would take a while to cook it.
It does. If we started it early enough, we might be ready for dinner. I like to hold on to the ear on the side here, and this saw cuts on the flesh. So if you are a little chilly this morning, this is a great exercise to warm you up. It's going to be a lot of work, but we'll go all the way down, split the pig in half. Would you like to do some pig head splitting? We'll grab that one too. And if you want to stabilize the head, feel free. It's a little wobbly. Lots of fat on these heads. So I'll also give you a good sense of just how much meat there is on a pig head. There's a lot going on.
So, in your opinion, the layer of fat that was on these guys, is that a good layer of fat? Is it?
Yeah, if you're raising guinea hogs,
Yeah.
and you're giving them pig feed, or if they're eating grain or a lot of slop, it's the layer of fat you should expect.
But would you, like, where's your ideal?
Would you raise them on chicken if you were personally doing it, or would you just
Usually if I had good enough pasture. Not all pasture is good enough. In fact, it very rarely is, So for me, this is, if these pigs had lived any longer, it would have started to get painfully obese.
Okay.
In a way that's not good for them. Like that one's eyes, you can see
Yeah.
a little more fat, and it
You want to
can
have a
see.
turn at
Real bad. Yeah, and I've seen that, and it's just not nice to the pig.
I noticed that I had a lot of fat around it on
Yeah.
the bigger second one.
Right. And she was still fully able to walk
Oh,
around
yeah.
and stuff. So, I think we slaughtered her at the perfect time. And I love the fat content she has. That's what these pigs specialize in. That's kind of the point of these guys, is you want that fat.
Closer to the edge of my help.
So this is pretty lame. Yeah. I like it. This proves our love for pig head right here. There you go. Love it.
Day night.
Nice job. Alright, so now we can scoop the brains out.
I think I just a little bit short.
This looks beautiful. Here's the brains. We can just scoop those out. And they're totally bloodshot because the bullet went right through them. They might have bone splinters and lead. So when it comes to eating the brains on a pig, they're kind of just waste. Garbage.
hold it from here there?
On a lamb or a goat,
Seem
you're
better
just
than
slitting through.
yeah.
So their brains are beautiful. They're tricky to get out of the skull delicately, because they're just made of fat. They turn them mush so easily. Isn't it? Yeah, you know where the intelligence comes from.
I was gonna say, but they think they're super
They're
smart.
super smart. It's the quantity of folds. So there's still a lot of surface area here, even though it's a small brain. Tons of folds in there. And so you can see with the bullet, there's the hole. I'm aiming for the thinnest part of the skull, which even there, that's as thin as it gets, right in there. Is what I'm aiming for. You can see how that, right between the eyes, that won't even get you to the brain. You just go into the sinus. That's going to go right there. Very solid, hard. It's bigger than a cow's skull. Yeah. I go 2 to 3 inches above the eyes.
is what I aim for. That looks amazing right there.
Yeah, you can see the tongue and the palate. All of that is good for head cheese. That's the side. Right?
Yeah, that looks super good. It's a decent sized tongue. I didn't expect it to be that big.
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah, it is pretty good size.
It's fun.
I mean, I've really only cooked cow tongue. I've never cooked any other animal's tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right there. So we can scoop the brains out of that one. Let's put it in the stainless bowl here.
Yeah.
The blue bowl is that's the dog bowl. Let's go into Bart, my dog.
Is that why I stood so patiently waiting there?
Yeah, probably. He's also bored out of his mind, so that might be.
He's begging for attention.
Yes.
What other animals do you have here besides those pigs and your dog?
I've got ducks and rabbits.
So what kind of rabbits do you have?
Yeah. American chinchillas.
Okay.
Yeah, they're great. I like them.
Yeah, that's what we have right now.
Is it meat rabbit or?
Yeah, we should get a chance to walk around and see what kind of farming you can do. A lot of chaos. I'm gonna rinse these off real quick, and then we'll cut the jowls off. I'm gonna rinse them with cold water, so you can really
Figured that out.
see all the juices. Brains, it's like I'm shooting a bit.
Yeah, we have foreigners and wow, we have goats and pigs.
Maybe next year, introduce you to a brain cat, they might speak.
Somebody needs to be careful
We're in
with these
California.
places.
Out of the head Okay.
Actually, not so bad, but I don't know if it's so
Pretty cool,
Outside in Placerville. So outside.
On the way to Tahoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the wedding we went to was in Grand Bay.
Okay, yeah.
What's the name of the place?
Placerville?
Okay, I thought it was Pleasantville.
Oh yeah.
It's just a little bit outside of, where we were, a little farther up.
Where Levi cheating started.
And you came all the way here for this one? Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's a good little trip. We're here for 4 days, and my mom lives up in north of Bellingham, so we're in Hackett, so.
Did you grow any pigs or anything?
We have pigs and goats and chickens. Rabbits.
You have chickens in Florida.
I wonder if there's a better place for me to
Squirrels,
put that.
lots of squirrels.
There's a better place.
Well, if we're gonna do corners, it might be a good place.
You guys said you have goats.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty
You have your backyard.
You should have them earlier.
You have
Got
some
a
pictures
bunch
going
of
on.
video
Yeah.
of Dr. Chin's head.
Yeah. Love our
He
goats.
needs a haircut.
But I don't like chickens.
Right.
But I like the eggs.
Right, exactly.
Well, maybe.
My son wants to go.
About cheese balls.
Our kids love them.
You can always move it.
I know, but if I have those,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
gonna
that's
be
good.
bad.
I mean, it'll sit and record all day long.
Once we do.
Well, we have both, but we breed them, and so the babies are the pets, and then they grow up, and then they're no longer fun, and
But
then
you always have pets,
and
right?
then you have more babies, and then then they grow up, and they're no longer fun.
What kind of goats do you have?
We have boars and Lamanchas and Nigerian goats.
The Lamanchas are the ones with the teeny tiny ears.
And they have the best personality.
Yeah, that's what I heard. There's a lady in Seattle that has La Mancha goats, and her son is autistic.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, he is scared of
So,
the goats home.
see, there's a lot of food on this. And all of this is good in the head cheese. You got half the tongue here. Even this palate that'll come off in the head cheese, a bunch of meat in the nasal cavity.
And that's once, no. How do you get out the
Oh, that's just by letting it simmer in water. We're gonna take the jowl off, and what's left over, you just put it in a pot with your carrots, onions, and celery. And you make a really nice batch of stock. That's really all head cheese is. and then all these goodies come off of the edges.
With the what and celery?
Carrots, onions, and
Oh,
celery.
okay.
With mirepoix. It's just aromatic vegetables. And you know, I use a lot of stuff too. It's good for leftover stuff like broccoli stalks or kale stalks if you're not using those. This should all go in your broth, meat broth. We'll take the jowls off, and the jowl is basically the side of the face, right here, from the mouth right up under the eye, under the ear. That whole area down there. The guanciale, which is the pillow in Italian.
Is that with the cheekbone right there? Is that like a cheek?
Yeah, that's the cheekbone,
So
and
you
that's
go
about as far as we
basically
go.
about-
So you
Or you
go
go
on
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
kind of like this.
Kind of see it go right there.
And all the way down to the mouth.
Yeah, so the way I started is
Go
kind of
down.
just below the tongue here. And I can get them started for you, just so we can, once you find the jaw, there, I can feel the jaw with my thumb. Now I kind of know where I'm going. And the only tricky part is I can hug the jaw, but there is one little muscle, and it's the chewing muscle. And I want to leave that on the head,
Why?
because it's this guy right there. So see that
Okay.
little hunk of meat?
That's
That's
for the head.
That's the gnawing muscle. I want to leave that on the skull. If we put it on the guanciale, it will become over salted because we're gonna salt the guanciale. I should probably mention that. We're gonna salt the jowl for jowl bacon, or if you want to say an Italian word, you can say guanciale. And if this was on that, it would become over salted for reasons that we'll talk about later. So there's kind of a natural seam there that you can follow the whole way, you know. And apart from that little muscle, I'm just hugging the jawline all the way up to under the ears. And once you're up here, you can just cut the whole thing free. And I like to leave the bottom lip on the skull, because that's got a bunch of saliva in it, which can, you know, harbors bacteria, and it can be a little tricky for curing. And here's the jowl. And it's got some bloodshot areas, because this is also, remember, we cut the head off on the same line that we used to stick the pig. So that's why there's some gashes and some blood here. It's from the first initial sticking. And so to prepare this for curing, the blood does have to go. Because really, as we'll talk about, curing meat, which is salting it, not just to flavor it, but to preserve it until the end of the cosmos, or you eat it. It's just water management. You're just removing water. Water is the catalyst for spoilage. All bacteria needs water in order to proliferate and cause spoilage. So when we remove the blood, because it's got the same pH as water, it is water loaded with blood-soluble nutrients. So every bacteria in the world can multiply in blood. And so it is a wise move to get it off. Oh, there we go. There's the round.
Yeah, I was just wondering what that was.
Yeah,
Cool.
there's the bullet. And that's probably just part of it.
What do you use?
Jacketed hollow points. I didn't really mention
Like a
that.
22 or
A 22 Magnum. Yeah. So I use hollow points will do it, but if it's a big enough pig, it kind of just smacks them in the head because it explodes upon impact. The bullet opens up and multiplies the surface area just upon impact. Whereas jacketed hollow point is supposed to penetrate first. You know, it holds its shape a little longer, and then it opens up, which I think is ideal. You know, we want to penetrate the skull and then open up into the brain cavity. And so I know it seems like I'm being a little liberal here in trimming. I've got these deep gashes where there's blood that is caught in there, but we just can't have blood on the guanciale. We'll lose it.
And the dog loves this part, right?
Yes, Bart is very happy about this. There we go. And a lot of this too is just refining your sticking technique. I made some rookie gashes here. Alright, that should be good. And blood on the surface is not so bad as, you know, bloodshot, blood that's impregnated in the meat. So we'll take off all the jowls and then just trim them up, and they can be roughly, they'll all end up being roughly triangular. And the jowl is pretty special. This is what is essential for pasta carbonara. This is meat. If you gotta check out my kitchen before you go, there's tons of meat just hanging in my kitchen. But this is meat hanging in arm's reach, always available. And you cut off a thickish slice, cube it up, put it in the skillet. And you don't even know what you're making, but you know it's going to be delicious. Because that's the beginning of everything, And it's just rendering out this, after this is salted and then hangs for 6 weeks, that fat is sweet and it's potent, it's really delicious. You fry an egg in it, braised kale, braised Brussels sprouts, toss, your freshly made pasta with a egg yolk, a little bit of Parmesan. That is what pasta carbonara is. And this is the key to all of that. So I'll grab some more knives. We'll continue to take jowls off. Then we'll put the half heads in there, and I'll get a tub for those.